I've been talking to devs a lot recently, and I guess the next thing you're going to see released on Pulsex is going to be the limit orders. Works fine in the private testnet. They're just going to push it to the main branch, and like you'll be able to test that soon. And the big thing that we're waiting on is consensus improvements. So because my devs are geniuses, they find bugs other people don't know about. So they know about bugs in BSC that nobody else knows about. They know about bugs in the click consensus mechanism, which Pirelli is based on, that nobody knows about. And so, before we launch mainnet, we want everything to be right. And right now we have a pretty cool opportunity because the Ethereum guys finally got to market with something, or are close to getting to market with something, which is their Ethereum 2.0, which will now, once it happens, just be called Ethereum. They won't be called Ethereum 2. And it doesn't release new coins. You're not going to get a copy of your coins on Ethereum 2. It doesn't improve costs. There's no extra throughput. There's no extra gas limit. There's no extra throughput per second. All it does is reduce issuance rate for Ethereum, which is bullish for all of crypto. Ethereum's got half the market cap of Bitcoin. And if you don't have Ethereum miners dumping the price constantly and enriching power companies and hardware manufacturers at the cost of the environment and the price chart, well, that's great. And that's great for all of crypto. And it's also great for Pulsechain. In my mind, the two most important core concepts for Pulsechain are basically, with this merge that's coming up, assuming it goes well, which I hope that it does. They've got a lot of audits. They've done a lot of testing on it. Hope it goes well. It doesn't do anything but help Pulsechain. Fees are still high. Gas limits are still low. No one's building out extra capacity for Ethereum. No one's trying to reduce the Ethereum fees except us. And I guess maybe the ETH2 developers that someday in the future will eventually get around to sharding, which has been a dream of theirs for like as long as Ethereum's existed. I don't know, 6 years. And it's great. So it also helps with our consensus stuff, because a lot of stuff the guys did in ETH2 for consensus is useful for us in Pulsechain. And that's the only thing we're really waiting. So, if you've used the testnet, which I consider to be the best game on the blockchain, hey, you like blockchain games? Guess what, guys? You get copies of all your coins in the pulsechain.com testnet. Go try them out right now. You can trade them back and forth. You can do, it's the same code. So you can do a lot of the same things. And everything else has been really good. Like Pulsex, done tons of trades, tons of people doing buy and burns. I've heard nothing but good things about the testnet. So we're basically, because things have taken as long as they have, we're more secure. We're able to improve other projects if we want. Not sure we will. In my mind, the two things people care about the most in Pulsechain are more coins, more throughput, lower fees. That's the primary value statement. And ETH 2.0 with this merge doesn't give you new coins, doesn't give you lower fees, doesn't give you higher throughput. And so our value proposition is totally clean. I like it. Everything's good. And then the less negative sell pressure on crypto as a whole from removing the miners having to get paid all the time is good for everything. As soon as this consensus is like executed and fixed on Pulsechain, it's going to be glorious. Imagine launching, imagine all these new people that get to buy a massive dips. So being able to have so many people, like perhaps the people at this conference, buying at rates that are, 10 times cheaper. Like for instance, Hex dipped 95%. Well, golly, that's a good dip. I mean, you could get, if you buy 95% dip, you're getting 20 times the stuff for the same economic energy that a person that had bought previously did. So in theory, that greatly reduces your risk because you're getting so much more stuff. So I think it's going to be awesome when that comes out. So let's see what next year might look like. Pulsechain, Pulsex, Hex on the Ethereum network, Hex on the Pulse network, documentary out, incentive token out. Tell us more about the incentive token. I don't know. People probably provide liquidity to it, and that'll be its claim to fame. Oh, yeah, the wallet's coming along. Mr. Wallet developer is still building out the wallet, so that's coming along. Hex is made better by Pulsechain. Pulsechain, especially in the beginning, is made better by Ethereum. Probably most of the activity is going to be through bridges in the beginning until it gets direct listings, right? Because you have to touch the fiat world. You have to touch the economic energy that people get paid in. So the more secure that is, better for everybody. Not to mention, guys, Hex is on Ethereum as well. So a more secure Ethereum is a nice one. Wallet, I'm not extremely happy with the wallet ecosystem in Ethereum. I'd like to see more diversity. I'd like to see there be more options. I'm having one built. It's in progress. So in theory, vertical integration would be, you've got the trading on Pulsex, you've got the consensus network on Pulsechain, you've got value storage and Hex, but really all of these would probably serve value storage pretty good. But time deposit, there's nothing that's going to do that better than Hex. And we've got all these derivatives built on top of Hex now. So you may have heard of them, like Hadron, Icosa, Maxi. We've also got the incentive token. That right there is almost the whole stack. So you've got coins, trading, consensus network, wallet. Only thing left is fiat on-ramp and off-ramp. And then you're pretty much vertically integrated. And so if you like one Richard Hart invention, you're probably more likely to like other Richard Hart inventions. I guess Pulsechain is going to be similarly duopolistic. I'm not even sure that's the right way to say that. But, how many scams are going to launch on Pulse endless. But that's what freedom looks like. And that's what helping the majority honest things looks like. And that's what saving hexagons from gas fees looks like. But if people are going to get wrecked margin trading, probably better they get wrecked someplace that wrecks them less than more, you know?
Number one, have you considered launching an app for your wallet? I think it would be a really good onboarding tool.
Yeah, it's built with cross-platform as a primary feature, to the best of my knowledge. There's a breed of softwares that helps you make things cross-platform. So for instance, Bitcoin used Qt, which is one way to do it. And then what's the one that Discord uses? Can't remember that one off the top of my head. There's a bunch of them. There's no reason to write the code twice if you can just write it once. It's not like it's a very high throughput kind of thing. Wallets are not, they're not going to be maxing out your CPU unless they're really poorly designed, which some of them are.
Part two of my question was, have you considered tying the incentive token to the wallet anyway, perhaps giving special benefits?
No. Of the many tokens, I care the least about that one. I don't care that much. Do you know what I mean? I want it to do well.
Fair enough.
It probably will do well if its primary trading partner does well. I mean, someone's going to have to give me. So I'll put it to this way. Okay, you've got great mechanic game theory. Why not apply that to one of the other coins? Pulsex, Pulsechain, Hex. Well, I guess Hex is done, but you're not going to be able to edit the hex code. It's immutable. You can still build on top of it. A lot of people are, Hadron, Maxia, Cosa, those things. But I care the least about that coin. I just don't care as much as the other coins.
Well, Richard, on the wallet, there's a number of people speculating about how incredible fees could be and the way that they speculate you may create the wallet. Is that excitement that people have about potentially fees? We look at things like MetaMask and the kind of revenue it generates, that could be something that could be a huge incentive for people participating in the wallet and a part of this project.
When it exists, I'm sure I'll have some cool game theory behind why you'd want to use it, but we're ways out. Let's focus on getting mainnet, It's
Yep.
I wouldn't having a wallet that isn't eyeballing you to death, I think is the core feature. Is it secure? Yes. Do you know it's not eyeballing you to death, right? Is it sending copies of your transactions to people that are there to analyze them? Because I don't like that idea that a wallet could be doing that. I think the primary use case for the wallet, secure and private. Everything else is bonus.
Awesome.
There's been a number of people that have wondered or questioned if Pulsechain and Pulsex, it might have a more difficult time of having hex-like returns because the initial capital infusion is so much greater than Hex was. 680 million put into Pulsechain, close to $1 billion in Pulsex. Is that a consideration, or is it more of the initial liquidity pool that's said in the beginning that has more of a bearing on the ability to grow and compound?
Well, a lot of business is experiments. You can't know with certainty what things are going to do. So I always run into people speaking with great certainty about things that there's just no way to know. So my best guess is to the opportunity of a speculative investment is the ratio of the people that know about it now to the ratio of people that will know about it. And this applies for honest, amazing things and for straight up trash things. So do you think that Hex stops on ramping users at 107,000 stakers? Well, I look at the chart. It doesn't look like that's what it's doing. Looks like it's doing just fine. Do you think more people, let me put it to this way. What percentage of Ethereum users have even heard of Pulsechain? 5%?
Very few.
6%? It said no mentions in any article anywhere. All the crypto news people are totally silent about it. So I think that the ratio of people that have heard about Pulsechain and Pulsex to the ratio of people that will hear about the world's largest free airdrop, I think there's gonna be a big difference. I think there's going to be a lot of people that'll be happy to participate that have never heard of it before. So that for me is the largest indicator of the potential of a thing. And so, by the way, Hex did a 10,000x, 100,000 stakers. How many more people do you think will participate in Pulsechain? I mean, straight up sucky stuff that is trash, like Celsius had millions of users. Millions of users. Hex doesn't have millions of users. Hex doesn't have millions of sacrificers, but Celsius had millions of users. And Ethereum probably has tens of millions of users, etc. And so I think, and here's the other thing. Why is the Pulsechain chat room 50% larger than the Hex chat room, even though it's 10 times less old? Well, maybe it's not tenfold less old anymore, but it's massively less old because it's an easier to understand product. There's not a definite answer as to why. But in my experience, people understand it a lot easier. They're cheaper, faster Ethereum, deflates only. By the way, Ethereum's still net inflationary, I believe, even after the merge.
So my question for tonight is, what is the oracle that Pulsechain is going to use?
The oracle? Well, I really don't know, because I don't know of any projects that I care about that are launching when Pulsechain launches. So I mean, like, all an Oracle is some guy's computer quoting a price for something. Be your computer. You can launch your own Oracle. So if the if the Chainlink guys want to come up, well, I mean, okay, you know what? I have a better answer for you. Uniswap has price oracle functionality built into it, so you can make Pulsex your price oracle for anything that's on chain that's traded on Pulsex, which is probably any PRC20 you want to put on there. Or you could even use bridged in things as well. Your other option is if you want to bridge in data that's off chain, which, by the way, I see very little use of this. You know, what is the off-chain thing that people need oracles for? Like trading commodities, like corn futures. I don't see that happening on the blockchain. So the number of things that really need off-chain data for price oracle use, I'm not familiar with volume or popularity in those things. I guess the Bitcoin price would be one of those things. It'd be nice to have a Bitcoin price feed, but you could kind of just calculate, like, yeah, it depends on how much bridged in wrap Bitcoin there is. I mean, if the bridged in wrap Bitcoin has a relatively stable chart, you could kind of guess that that's your price oracle for what the value of Bitcoin price is. So if you want more like weird use case, weird bridged in stuff, I don't know, go ask one of the existing Oracle guys to point one of their nodes over to the Pulse chain, or just, if it's open source, do it yourself. That's the beautiful thing about open source, is you're supposed to do it yourself. So I hope that answered your question. I think knowing that Pulsex can act as a price oracle is pretty neat. It even has time weighted average price if you want to get it. It's a great question.